Okay, so I forget what I recorded a minute ago, because it's been a little bit. I got distracted. I had some stuff to do. You also might hear the oven go off here in a minute. So let's see. I made the video about Gorilla, and I was gonna talk about the new UI stuff. This is what that is. We're having some issues. I found out that apparently if you build Sapien at the moment in 32-bit mode, it fucking breaks, and I need to look into it further. So this is 64-bit, but that's fine. It doesn't actually matter. So all these menus, most of them do nothing. This one does that. Doesn't actually open the dialogue. You can kind of see roughly what things are gonna be. The one thing I will say is that the menus are actually based off of the sort of the H2 codes, whatever it's called, Sapien. Basically, it's like a modified version of Halo of H2 Sapien, which has large address support, which I believe federally makes it 64-bit, but you know, that's pretty cool. But it made some adjustments to the menus, and those will be present. But there are a few things we can do in here, like this. Preferences, again, does nothing. This isn't... Sapien itself does not do anything at the moment. This is just most of what's been done with Sapien and Foundry is just in terms of making the UI sort of do stuff, which even that isn't super far in depth. But, you know, I figure it's worth showing because, you know, it's kind of cataloging the early kind of status, and kind of you can see where it progresses over time. Auto backup, basically, this is just, you know, the auto backup setting from regular Sapien. It'll automatically... You can have it automatically create backups of your scenario. You can save how often to keep the backup. You can basically, you'll be able to make it where it'll only keep only the most recent however many backups, or keep all. By default, they'll save to the scenarios like folder, because that's where it does normally. Or you can have backups go somewhere else. Pretty simple stuff. Generally use classic custom director speed dialog. There's a couple different variants of that. One of them is just, I don't think it actually does anything. It's not here yet. Yeah, no. I think actually the dialogue might exist. It's just there's no way to open it yet. So, yeah. I'll show you that later, I guess. But we'll come to this in a minute. Startup, basically, anything you put in here will be any sort of startup flags you want passed to the engine whenever it starts it up. Whenever you're opening a new scenario. The director keyboard camera, you can enable the balancing from here. That was that same. This doesn't actually work yet, but basically it'll be just a toggle in here. Miscellaneous. So that you can change your mouse pointer. By default, it won't. Like I'll just see, you know, a diamond sword cursor. But the engine is capable of changing the mouse, and basically you can allow it to do that. Or if you want Sapien to not do that, you can just have it not do that. But by default, it won't do that. It'll just Sapien will do its own thing. Shortcuts, basically, this is where any like key bindings for anything up here, any of these commands, you'd be able to do those in here. And I'll probably make it where like you can say have it execute like a script command, like just regular console command in here. You'd be able to add that. That'll be added later though. Again, none of this does anything. This is all just UI. Nothing actually does anything except for this. This does do something. These are the different themes. By default, you have a few themes. You have your basically these Qt. These are just the baked-in Qt themes. Default is just Windows Vista, which is the just the regular theme. You have Windows, which is the kind of classic theme. This is not. There will be a modified version of this theme that's made to be more classic, because there are subtle details that are not quite what I would consider correct. So. That'll be a different theme in here. That'll be in there. These will also be in there. There's the Qt Fusion theme, which looks like this. I believe this is on a KDE. Probably one or two other Linux distros, but yeah, that's there. I don't know why it's on Windows, but hey, there it is. Midnight. This will be. Now this is the actual first custom theme, and this takes a minute to load. It's not done, but you can kind of see what we're going for. It's very reminiscent of the actual website theme. This is kind of good. This is, it's not done yet. You can kind of see, you know, like these kind of boxes here look like crap. These, I need to make images for these kind of check boxes. Just little placeholder stuff. Yeah, it's not done yet. These buttons are, that's, again, not perfect yet. It's still being worked on, but you kind of see the general direction. And then these are also not centered. Again, I think this just has to do with styling. Again, not done. But the other thing that we're experimenting with is theme variant. Basically, there's a few different. Basically, there's a whole theme system. And that doesn't actually do anything yet. Of course. Basically, this is basically you have the default, which is kind of like this blue accent, the same one on the as on the website. Gold. This will take a second. I'm gonna make it where like it'll pop a little dialogue like, "Oh, applying theme. Please wait." Like a gold theme, which as you can see is gold, and it's actually the same gold as in the Sapien icon. If you could tell down here, you probably can't. We have magenta, which is the kind of pink, hot pink, magenta kind of color, whatever the hell. As you will see on the Blamite homepage, and this is kind of the official Blamite color, basically. And then you have maroon, which is kind of a deep red, as you can see. Basically, the idea is that all the tools will by default use this like midnight theme, but each one will use a different accent depending on what tool it is. Like, so Sapien would use the gold theme, Gorilla would use the red theme, Foundry would. I'm debating whether or not to have Foundry use the magenta theme or to make like a green theme for it, but I don't know. There'll be other accents in here as well, just for the hell of it, because why not? Because they're pretty easy to make. But like they'll pretty much all have like kind of this theme by default, and it'll be kind of neat. I figure, and then so yeah, Omaha, because this is kind of the newer one. Well, I say newer, but basically this is designed to look like it's not quite polished. Like you can see, the menu looks like crap. The idea is that this is kind of meant to replicate the look of what's it called? Of Bonobo. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's pronounced Bonobo according to Google. It's basically, I just found out about this by reading some Bungie publication, but it's basically Gorilla, but like modern, but like the next generation of Gorilla. It's like really cool. If I can. Here it is. I can show it to you. Like, it looks like this. You can almost read the text. If I zoom in close enough, you can kind of make it out what it says. Barely. Actually, if I zoom in, it's harder to read. But, yeah. That's how it looks. There's a few more. I don't know why I did that. Cause just in this. There's a whole lot of stuff in here. This is going to be kind of used as kind of like a rough kind of guy, like some of these figures. I don't know what the fuck half of this shit's doing, to be honest. But I figure, hey, you know what? We can make themes. Let's make a theme that sort of looks like it. And so that's what this is. It sort of looks like it. It'll probably look a little slightly more like it, because I mean, but the big thing is like, you know, the main things of highlight of interest are like, you know, the tabs, because they're kind of their own thing. Although these tabs are different. The tabs are designed off of these tabs over here, like on the side kind of thing, because, you know, and then yeah, you see it is pretty much the same. And there are no variants for that one. And then this one's just a fucking meme. This is the QT example theme. It looks fucking horrible. It's basically QT on their website. Has like different guides, like, oh yeah, here you can customize all the different styles, and I basically took that, compiled them all together, and made this fucking abomination of a theme. I probably won't ship it, but we'll see. Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah, I mean there's not really too much more to say. at this point. It's just that and there will be a few other themes that'll that'll exist. One will basically be kind of made to look more like Visual Studio and or Assembly. Assembly being that modding tool. They have another one designed to look like I believe Alteration, because it kind of looks like this. It looks like Office 2007, and it's like really kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of neat. Basically, you want to make it look like any of the kind of older modding tools that used to be used, as well as just, you know, old school, like kind of to be a modified version of this theme to look more like, you know, old school, classic, like kind of the old kind of tools. Basically, the idea is that you can have your tools look old, or you can have them look new. And guess what? The really cool part, if I can figure it out how to get there, open in File Explorer. If you come over to here, is that, and as you probably, if you saw that big 2-hour video, the big thing is that there are, now you can even see these kind of themes in here, all these kind of placeholder folders. This is where all the themes are stored under editor themes. There's built-in and there's user. And then these are text files. So basically we're going to make it where the user can themselves create new themes using either these as a base or not. And then basically the only real separation between these is that, like, you know, these are just to list them as these are official built-in themes, and they go here. And then if you want to add themes as a user, it's basically just a way to kind of organize things, keep it tidy. Technically, you could just add like a custom theme under built-in, but why would you? Why not just put it here? That way, you know, it's actually just as user theme. But yeah, on the way themes work, let me plop it into here. Let me pop it out as its own window. This is actually a bad example. Let me pull up Midnight, because it actually, you can kind of see. Well, you could well, one thing you can see is you'll see CSS. It's not CSS, it's really just QSS. It's CSS, so that way Visual Studio recognizes it and I can just edit it like this. What happened? We're just open in the background. And you'll see these kind of accent color kind of placeholder tags. So, it doesn't like it. It doesn't like some of the Qt stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But if we pull this up, quit fucking going in the back. You see variants. We see variant name, and that's what shows up in the menus. And then property name, or property, and then the name is accent color, and this is the value. Basically, the idea is that themes can have different just replacement variables. In this case, only amounts to accent color, but you could theoretically do any number of things with this, because it'll just look like, oh, you have accent color? Okay, well, whatever variant, it will just replace any of that tag with whatever the default is, or whatever your selected thing is. Base Qt style, this is basically your just default Qt kind of theme, so this would be Windows Vista for Windows. That's the name of the theme. You have version, you have your description here, that'll show up somewhere, the author, and then the actual name of the theme. And then you can, any style sheets that are used, you reference those in here. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. It's pretty straightforward. And the idea is that you'd be able to say you don't like any of these themes. Say, man, I want to make my own theme. Damn it, Bobby, I want to make my own theme. Here, you listen here. I don't know what the fuck I don't know what the hell that was. But yeah, if you wanted to add your own, you could. And then you have a little theme editor. This is kind of neat. I had to fucking build this by hand. But this will say, what the hell? Q push button. You can do color red. You can apply styles, and then all the push buttons have the red. This is abstract buttons, but it doesn't get that. But this is what I was saying earlier about how Qt is awesome. You could style fucking literally, you can theme like desktop applications with what is effectively CSS. There are differences, of course. There's not everything carries over. Sorry, I got the hiccups a little bit. But this is fucking. I mean, bro, that's crazy. That's wild, man. It's just really cool. Oh, fucking disappears. There's some rain outside. That's really exciting. And it only applies to this window. So if I close it, and then as you see, all these other buttons, these are fine. Yeah, and also, shouldn't that have a white background? Because almost like, see, again, that's another thing that'll be changed. I want to make one that's more faithful, because this one really is not super faithful. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is for Sapien at the moment. It doesn't really do a ton. Exit doesn't even work. That's how early this is. Sapien.net sort of used to work. It probably doesn't anymore, so I'm not gonna fucking bother, because you're not gonna see anything else. It just opens a game window, which is, I mean, whoa, that's cool, but again, it's not even worth. Maybe I'll try it in like the little third video that I make. But last thing I'll show you in terms of this kind of stuff is Foundry. And you can see the kind of log. Yeah, here we are. This is very, 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 very rough sketch of what the UI for Foundry would look like, or could look like. You have your editor settings in here. Pretty much the similar stuff as Sapien, although not the same. Startup, maybe most recent item startup. Auto backup, yup. Appearance. Basically, you'll be able to have two. By default, it'll be the docking mode. You can just kind of read that. But basically, the way it works is that by default, it's kind of this docking style that you see back here. But for those who want to rock it old school, you can have it be in MDI mode, to where all these windows would just be little windows, similar to the old school tools, if you want. That output window style. You see, like down here, it's kind of like all stylized. You could have it not basically, because you can change like what's it called? Like in Halo 1, the output window had like just kind of like a regular bitmap font going on there. You can basically be able to make it look kind of what it looks like down here, and then you can also make it not look like that. Clear's theme is the same exact thing as before, except it'll look even worse on here because even less is styled. But you can kind of see what's going on here. Engine settings, they'd easily be able to configure different game maker settings in here pretty easily. Keybinds, basically same as the bindings familiar. Workspace, you could save a different workspace. Basically, workspace would be like either your MDI layout or your dock layout. Basically, whether it be either or, you can save everything. You can lock, and there'll be probably like a little quick menu somewhere to do that. You want to name it, workspace flags. There'll probably be more of these later. Right now it's just lock window sizes, so basically where you won't be able to resize them. And then workspace switcher, that's that thing that'll be like, I don't know, somewhere around here. Some little quick switcher to kind of pop between them. You can duplicate them, save them, revert them, etc. That's about it. I think I clicked past it. Yep. No, I didn't set up anything. This is all just placeholder, by the way. Look at this. Oh, look, it's a little tool window. Oh, what's that? Oh, pull these out, pop those out. Yup. You know what? Say, I want the output to be over here, and then I want the instance property to be over here. I want the content browser to be down here, and I want these to be right over here. And then scenario settings, I'll make those. Have those be part of there, and then you can kind of switch between them with tabs. Wow, look at that! Isn't that the best thing you've ever fucking seen? I didn't have to do anything for it to do that. It just does that by default. I just had to make the little mock-up windows. Bro, that's crazy. That's cool. The only limitation that I wish you'd be able to do is that this center area, which just has a tab control, you cannot make that dockable. I wish you could do that. That'd be awesome, but you can't. So the center is always going to be this, and then by default that'd be your game preview. But like, say if you open any tags or anything else, any like open documents, that would be in here, and then your different kind of stuff around that would be like that. I mean, it's functionally it'll be fine, I'm sure, but you know, if only. But yeah, you'll be able to kind of move stuff around, almost like it. And then this is basically would be like kind of, this would be your kind of standard default editing environment, effectively, because this is, you know, this is your unified editor. That, you know, like kind of like this is the Blamite equivalent to things like can I dock, please, bro? There you go, thank you. This would basically be the kind of Blamite equivalent to your typical, like your Unreal editor or Unity editor. You'd play, and so you'd basically be able to actually run the engine in real time. You know, so like, as a game, like actually start, you know, running game scripts. You stop, and then it's, yeah. This is basically what it'll be. You'll be able to toggle different windows here. About that Blamite, none of these do anything. As of course, you expect anything different. It's all very, very placeholder, very early on, because, you know, there's nothing to really edit at the moment. But basically this is roughly where, that's what, basically that, what the two things I just showed you about Sapien and Foundry, that's the kind of stuff you're gonna see in the other like editing tools, for the most part. Not all of them, but for the most part. Like basically the mainline ones, like the ones that you actually use that aren't like very, the ones that are kind of generalized, like, you know, Gorilla, Sapien, Foundry, probably not Tool, because why would you even, Tool's a command line thing. Although I'll probably make it where Tool has like a UI, because command line is not the most intuitive fucking thing. Either that, or I'll make it where the things that Tool does can be automated. Well, Foundry you'll be able to do that kind of stuff automatically, but I might make like a separate UI, little GUI application just for kind of people who don't want to use Foundry, because maybe there's like 3 people out there who, I'm not, the only way I like to do it is the old funky way. I want to use Sapien and Gorilla. I don't want to use no Foundry. And for those people, hey, you know what? You'll have your Sapien and you'll have your Gorilla, and you can just not even worry about Foundry. The idea is that anything you'll be able to do in Foundry, you'll be able to do in any of the other tools. Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much the plan. And to aid in that is that the actual underlying code for, like, because like Foundry, Sapien, like basically they all have, like, they will all share kind of like back-end kind of code. So like any major improvements to Foundry will also apply to Sapien and Gorilla where applicable. That's kind of like, that's the general direction. And like Foundry would basically load Sapien and Gorilla, except as C++, as libraries, and it would reference a lot of stuff from those. So that way we would actually be modifying the original tools, and then those enhancements would be pulled over to Foundry. I don't know. I can only speak in vague terms like that, because again, there is no Gorilla, there is no Sapien, there is no Foundry. I mean, they all exist, but they don't do anything yet. So because, you know, all the main focus is this. So yeah, that's about it for this one. I might make, what you might see one more about kind of me going really quickly going through one of these other projects and maybe venting. I actually will probably save that for here in a few days, because it's starting to get a little late. I still got to eat my dinner, and you know, I want to actually, you know, I want to fucking actually write some code tonight if at all possible. So, you know, so maybe keep an eye out for that somewhat soon. But that's all we got today, folks. Have a good one.